Close your eyes for a moment. Feel the air around you. Hear the sounds. Now ask yourself, are you truly free? Or are you merely a passenger in a vessel whose course has already been set, its destination predetermined by forces you cannot see, cannot name? Years of relentless research, countless hours spent dissecting the human psyche, have led me to a chilling, undeniable truth. Your brain can be chained, not with the crude metal of a dungeon, but with something far more insidious, far more invisible. This video reveals the dark, psychological art of forcing the mind to obey, even when every fiber of its being screams for defiance. Tonight, we will journey into the hidden architecture of your thoughts, the unseen currents that pull your decisions, the silent whispers that shape your very reality. Prepare to question the very foundation of your autonomy. Prepare to confront the unsettling possibility that the freedom you cherish is, in fact, a meticulously crafted illusion. We navigate a world saturated with information, a relentless torrent of images, sounds, and narratives. Every fleeting glance, every casual conversation, every headline you scroll past, each is a tiny, potent seed. But who are the gardeners planting these seeds? And what kind of harvest are they truly cultivating within the fertile soil of your mind? You pride yourself on rational thought, on independent judgment. You believe your choices are born from pure, unadulterated free will. But what if that logic has been subtly, expertly guided? What if your free will is merely navigating a labyrinth, every turn and dead end meticulously designed by an unseen architect? This isn't the stuff of grand cinematic conspiracies. This is far more intimate, far more pervasive. It's about the silent, persistent currents that flow beneath the surface of your consciousness, shaping your inner world without your explicit consent. We are talking about cognitive chains, the dark art of forcing your brain's compliance, a concept so fundamental, yet so profoundly overlooked. It forms the very bedrock of how our minds can be subtly, yet powerfully directed, making us willing participants in our own psychological subjugation. Our brains are magnificent, complex machines capable of astonishing feats of creativity and problem-solving. Yet, in their tireless effort to process the overwhelming deluge of reality, they rely on shortcuts. These are our cognitive biases, ingrained mental habits, efficient but often flawed, that allow us to make rapid decisions. But these shortcuts are not just conveniences. They are vulnerabilities. They are the first, almost imperceptible links in the chain. Consider the confirmation bias. We are inherently drawn to information that validates what we already believe, and we instinctively recoil from anything that challenges our existing worldview. It's comforting, isn't it, to have your beliefs affirmed? But this comfort is a cage. It means your mind can be easily trapped in an echo chamber, endlessly reinforcing a narrative no matter how flimsy, simply because it aligns with a pre-existing idea. You become your own jailer, sealing yourself off from uncomfortable truths. Then there's the anchoring effect. The very first piece of information you encounter about a subject can disproportionately influence all your subsequent judgments, even if that initial piece is utterly arbitrary. Think about a negotiation. The first number thrown out, however extreme, becomes the anchor around which all future discussions revolve. Or how public opinion is shaped. The initial framing of an issue, the first label applied, often dictates the entire discourse. This initial anchor isn't just a suggestion. It's a gravitational pull, subtly bending the trajectory of your thought, without you ever realizing the initial impulse wasn't your own. And what about the framing effect? The way information is presented, whether it's framed as a gain or a loss, a success or a failure, can drastically alter your perception and decision-making, even if the underlying facts remain identical. A glass half full or half empty, It's the same amount of water, but the framing dictates your emotional and cognitive response. These aren't conscious manipulations in every instance. Often, they are simply the default settings of our own minds. But in the hands of those who understand them, or through the relentless, unconscious forces of societal influence, these biases become the invisible threads that weave the fabric of your perceived reality, making you believe you've arrived at a conclusion independently, when in fact, the path was laid out for you, step by subtle step. Beyond these innate biases lies a more active, more deliberate force, the power of suggestion. This isn't about overt commands or direct orders, it's about planting ideas so subtly, so artfully, that they bypass your conscious defenses, taking root deep within your subconscious, where they blossom into what you genuinely believe are your own thoughts, your own desires. Consider the pervasive world of advertising. It rarely tells you directly, buy this product. Instead, it masterfully associates the product with powerful, primal feelings, happiness, belonging, success, security, even love. It doesn't sell a car. It sells freedom. It doesn't sell a drink. It sells camaraderie. It suggests a lifestyle, an identity, a solution to an unarticulated longing. And your mind, eager to fill in the gaps, to complete the narrative, readily accepts these suggestions, making the desire feel like an authentic internal impulse. This extends far beyond consumerism. Think about political rhetoric, social media trends, even the stories we consume in entertainment. Words carry immense weight, not just in their literal meaning, but in their emotional resonance and the subtle associations they evoke. A carefully chosen phrase, a repeated slogan, a consistent narrative, delivered often enough, through enough channels, can bypass your critical faculties and embed itself deep within your subconscious. It shapes your opinions, your values, your very understanding of what is good or bad, right or wrong, without you ever realizing the source. This is how reality itself can be constructed. Not through outright lies, which are easily detected, but through a consistent, subtle suggestion of what is true, what is important, what is desirable. Your mind, in its inherent quest for meaning and coherence, eagerly accepts these suggestions, weaving them into the fabric of your personal reality. And the more you accept, the stronger the cognitive chains become, binding you to a perception that may not be entirely your own creation. The journey into the hidden depths of the mind can be profoundly unsettling, a confrontation with uncomfortable truths. But it is also an unparalleled opportunity for liberation. Understanding these unseen forces, these cognitive chains, is the first, crucial step towards true awareness and genuine autonomy. If this exploration of the mind's hidden mechanisms resonates with you, if you crave more insights into the dark corners of human psychology and philosophy, then consider joining our growing community. Hit the subscribe button, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement fuels our mission to shed light on these profound, often unsettling, truths. Now, let us delve deeper into the very architecture of belief. If suggestion plants the seeds, then the architecture of belief is how those seeds grow into towering, often impenetrable structures within your mind. Our beliefs are rarely born from pure, unadulterated rational thought or direct, objective experience. More often, they are inherited, absorbed from our families, our culture, our education, our social circles. They are the foundational blocks upon which we build our identity, our sense of belonging, our understanding of the world. Consider the very nature of truth. Is truth an objective, unchanging entity, waiting to be discovered? Or is it, in many crucial ways, a consensus, a shared agreement, a narrative that enough people believe to make it functionally real? In a world saturated with competing narratives, truth can become a remarkably malleable concept, shaped and reshaped by those who control the platforms. the information, and the very language we use to describe reality. What is deemed true today might be dismissed as false tomorrow, depending on who is speaking and who is listening. This is where the concept of the shadow self becomes critically important. Carl Jung, the renowned psychologist, spoke of the shadow as the unconscious aspects of the personality that the conscious ego does not identify with, the parts of ourselves we hide, suppress, or deny because they are deemed unacceptable or inconvenient. But what if society or external forces also create a collective shadow? Ideas, truths, or perspectives that are systematically pushed into the dark, deemed dangerous, heretical, or simply irrelevant. When these parts of ourselves, or these alternative truths, are suppressed, either individually or collectively, they don't simply vanish. They fester. They create internal tension, a subtle dis-ease, making us profoundly vulnerable to manipulation. The cognitive chains become stronger, almost unbreakable. When we are unaware of the very parts of ourselves that instinctively resist them, the parts that hold the key to genuine liberation, the more we deny our own shadow, the more power it holds over us, and the more susceptible we become to external control that exploits those hidden vulnerabilities. The realization that your mind can be chained, that your reality might be a carefully constructed illusion, can be deeply unsettling. It can feel like a profound betrayal of your very autonomy, a loss of innocence. But this awareness is not a curse. It is, in fact, the most profound invitation you will ever receive. Understanding these cognitive chains doesn't mean you can instantly shatter them or become immune to all influence. We are, by our very nature, social creatures, constantly interacting, constantly absorbing. But it does mean you can choose how you respond. You can begin to recognize the subtle nudges, the carefully crafted suggestions, the unconscious biases that guide your thoughts. You can learn to discern the architect's hand from your own. It means cultivating the courage to confront your own shadow self, those parts of you that resist, those uncomfortable truths you've pushed away, those desires you've denied. For it is often in these hidden corners, in the very act of acknowledging what we've suppressed, that true strength and genuine freedom begin to emerge. The chains lose their power, not when they are broken by force, but when they are illuminated by understanding. When you see them for what they are, their grip loosens. The dark art of forcing the mind's compliance relies entirely on your ignorance, on your unconscious acceptance. It thrives in the shadows of your unexamined self. But once illuminated, once understood, the power shifts. The question then becomes, will you remain a puppet, dancing to a tune you didn't compose? Or will you become the conscious puppeteer of your own mind, choosing your own movements, your own symphony? We have journeyed through the subtle biases, the insidious power of suggestion, and the constructed nature of our beliefs. We have glimpsed the invisible forces that shape our inner world, the very essence of cognitive chains, the dark art of forcing your brain's compliance. But the true question, the one that will echo long after this video fades, remains. How much of what you believe, how much of what you desire, how much of who you are, is truly yours? And if you found the answer unsettling, what will you do with that truth? The chains are always there. The choice is yours, to be bound by them or to understand their intricate design and perhaps, for the first time, truly begin to walk your own path.